Brain functions. The human brain is responsible for controlling and coordinating all bodily functions and actions. It is the command center of the central nervous system and receives, processes, and interprets sensory information from the body and the environment. Some of the main functions of the human brain include cognitive processes such as perception, attention, memory, language, and problem solving. Emotional processes such as regulating mood, motivation, and empathy. Control of voluntary and involuntary movements and coordination of motor activity. Regulation of autonomic functions such as breathing, heart rate, and digestion. Integration of information from various sources to form a cohesive understanding of the world. Overall, the human brain is essential for our ability to think, feel, move, and interact with our environment. What is the main parts of the brain? The human brain is a complex organ that is divided into several main parts, each with its own specific functions. The three main parts of the brain are the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the brainstem. Cerebrum. The cerebrum is the largest part of the brain and is responsible for most of our conscious and voluntary activities. It is divided into two hemispheres, the left and right, which are connected by a bundle of fibers called the corpus callosum. The cerebrum is further divided into four lobes: the frontal, parietal, temporal, and occipital lobes. Cerebellum. The cerebellum is located under the cerebrum and is responsible for coordinating and regulating motor activity, balance, and posture. Brainstem. The brainstem is the lower part of the brain that connects the cerebrum and cerebellum to the spinal cord. It contains several structures that control essential functions such as breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, and digestion. Other important structures in the brain include the thalamus, hypothalamus, and limbic system, which are involved in sensory processing, homeostasis, and emotional regulation, respectively. Overall, the different parts of the brain work together to control and coordinate all bodily functions and actions, allowing us to interact with our environment and experience the world around us. What are the lobes that make up your human brain? The human brain is divided into four lobes: the frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and occipital lobe. Each lobe is responsible for different functions and has unique structures and connections. Frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is located at the front of the brain and is responsible for many of the brain's executive functions, including decision-making, planning, problem-solving, and personality. It also contains the motor cortex, which controls voluntary movements. Parietal lobe. The parietal lobe is located in the middle of the brain and is responsible for processing sensory information from the body, such as touch, temperature, and pain. It also plays a role in spatial awareness and perception. Temporal lobe. The temporal lobe is located on the side of the brain and is primarily responsible for processing auditory information, such as hearing and speech. It also plays a role in memory and language comprehension. Occipital lobe. The occipital lobe is located at the back of the brain and is responsible for processing visual information from the eyes. It plays a crucial role in visual perception, object recognition, and spatial awareness. Each lobe is interconnected with other parts of the brain, and they work together to control and coordinate various bodily functions and behaviors. Human nervous system. The human nervous system is a complex network of specialized cells and tissues that control and coordinate all bodily functions and activities. It is divided into two main parts: the central nervous system (CNS) and the peripheral nervous system (PNS). Central nervous system (CNS). The CNS includes the brain and spinal cord. It is responsible for processing and interpreting sensory information from the PNS and sending motor signals to muscles and organs. The brain controls and coordinates higher-level functions, such as thought, emotion, and memory, while the spinal cord controls reflexes and involuntary movements. Peripheral nervous system (PNS). The PNS includes all the nerves outside the brain and spinal cord. It is further divided into two main branches: the somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. A. Somatic nervous system. The somatic nervous system controls voluntary movements and transmits sensory information from the body to the CNS. B. Autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system regulates involuntary bodily functions, such as heart rate, breathing, and digestion. It is further divided into two branches: the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system, which work together to maintain homeostasis and respond to changes in the environment. Overall, the human nervous system is a highly complex and integrated system that allows us to interact with the environment and respond to changes in our surroundings. It controls and coordinates all bodily functions and activities, and is essential for our survival and well-being. Protecting brain, bones and tissues. What are the bones and tissues that protect your human brain? The bones that protect the human brain are the skull bones, also known as the cranial bones. These bones include the frontal bone, parietal bones, temporal bones, occipital bone, sphenoid bone, and ethmoid bone. The tissues that support and nourish the human brain are collectively referred to as the meninges. The meninges are composed of 3 layers: the dura mater, arachnoid mater, and pia mater. The cerebrospinal fluid also provides a cushioning effect for the brain, protecting it from damage. Additionally, there are various blood vessels in the brain that provide oxygen and nutrients to the brain tissue. What other parts of the brain send and receive signals? The brain is a complex organ that consists of many different regions, each with its own specific functions. One of the primary functions of the brain is to receive and send signals to other parts of the body. The cerebral cortex is the outermost layer of the brain, and it is responsible for processing sensory information, including touch, taste, vision, hearing, and smell. The cortex also plays a critical role in controlling movement, speech, and language. The thalamus is a structure located deep within the brain that serves as a relay station for sensory information. It receives signals from the sensory organs and relays them to the appropriate regions of the cerebral cortex for further processing. The hypothalamus is a small structure located beneath the thalamus that plays a critical role in regulating many of the body's functions, including temperature, hunger, thirst, and sexual behavior. The hypothalamus also controls the release of hormones from the pituitary gland, which is located just below it. The brainstem is the lower part of the brain that connects the brain to the spinal cord. It controls many of the body's automatic functions, such as breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure. The cerebellum is a small structure located at the back of the brain that is responsible for coordinating movement and balance. It receives signals from the sensory organs and relays them to the motor cortex to initiate movement. How many brain cells does a human have? The estimated number of brain cells, or neurons, in the adult human brain is around 86 billion. However, this number can vary depending on the method used to estimate it, as well as individual variations in brain structure and size. In addition to neurons, there are also other types of brain cells, such as glial cells, which provide support and nourishment to the neurons. How does your brain relative to hormone production? The brain plays a critical role in regulating the production and release of hormones throughout the body. The hypothalamus, which is located at the base of the brain, acts as a central control center for the endocrine system, which is the system that produces and releases hormones. The hypothalamus produces various hormones that stimulate or inhibit the release of hormones from the pituitary gland, which is located just below it. The pituitary gland produces and releases a variety of hormones that regulate many of the body's functions, including growth, metabolism, reproduction, and stress response. Other regions of the brain, such as the amygdala, hippocampus, and prefrontal cortex, also play a role in regulating hormone production and release in response to environmental and emotional cues. For example, the amygdala, which is involved in the processing of emotions, can stimulate the release of stress hormones in response to a perceived threat. Overall, the brain plays a crucial role in maintaining the delicate balance of hormone production and release throughout the body, and disruptions in this balance can have significant effects on physical and mental health. Tips of human brain healthy. Here are some tips to help keep your brain healthy. Get regular exercise. Exercise has been shown to improve brain function and can help reduce the risk of cognitive decline. Eat a healthy diet. A balanced diet that includes plenty of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains can help provide the nutrients your brain needs to function at its best. Stay mentally active. Engaging in mentally stimulating activities, such as reading, learning a new skill, or playing a challenging game, can help keep your brain sharp and may even reduce the risk of cognitive decline. Get enough sleep. Getting enough sleep is essential for proper brain function, and lack of sleep can impair memory, attention, and decision-making abilities. Manage stress. Chronic stress can have negative effects on brain function, so it's important to find ways to manage stress, such as through relaxation techniques or mindfulness practices. Stay socially connected. Maintaining social connections can help reduce the risk of cognitive decline and may even improve brain function. Protect your head. Head injuries can have long-term effects on brain function, so it's important to wear appropriate protective gear when participating in activities that carry a risk of head injury, such as contact sports or cycling. By following these tips, you can help keep your brain healthy and functioning at its best. To get more informational videos like this, please subscribe our channel, share and press the bell icon. Thanks for watching.